What's up, guys? Boogie back again. So, guys, I have a very interesting compilation of videos today we're going to react to, guys. Crazy. I know this one has been going viral, but apparently, Rashad, very beautiful woman. If you guys used to watch the Cosby show, I think she was his wife. But just she was beautiful. And she's still beautiful even at her age. I think she's like 70 or maybe 75. But she came out and she was saying the ladies are not dressing well. They are walking naked, twerking on Instagram. She's old school, right? Because she's really, some people will call it a grandmother right now. To some people, maybe auntie, old auntie. But she came out in the Breakfast Club and she was saying the ladies are not dressing well. And as usual, I wasn't surprised. As usual, the moment any woman, let alone a man, but if any woman tries to go against the sisterhood and say something to hold them accountable or something they should change, they're going to come for her. It doesn't matter how much they like her, how much she exudes elegancy and class, because Rashad exudes elegancy and class. They don't care. They came for her. They're saying she's old, she's bitter, she shouldn't tell women to dress for men. She should let women dress the way they want. If they want to be naked, they should be naked. The women don't dress for men, they dress for themselves. Crazy. And obviously, as usual, one of my favorite YouTubers, Anton Daniels, had a panel of ladies and guys, and they had to talk about it. But it's just interesting to see the dynamics and mentality between men and women. Now, I watched a part of this video. Most of them agreed, but it's just to see how even when a woman agrees with what Phylicia Rashad said, they kind of try to twist it to let people get away without holding them, to let other women get away without holding them accountable. So without further ado, let's get into it. And shout out to Anton Daniels. All the links to all the videos I'm going to be reacting to will be in the description. Some of you ask me, why don't you finish the videos? If I don't finish the videos, click the link in the description. I'll put all of them below so you can go to those people's channels, check them out, see the work they're doing, and follow them and tell them Boogie sent you. Without further ado, let's get into it.
The way young ladies dress. Young ladies are so beautiful. Something has happened in popular culture. You're young queens. I'm taken aback when I see on a college campus young women dressed in strips of clothing. No man wants his woman to be out like that.
Why is it that anytime older women try to give game to younger women, it always circles back to being about a man? But she is a pick-me also. I was okay with the message until she said, and most importantly, no man wants a woman that dresses whatever way they were talking about. And why don't people understand that not all women date men? They need to reprogram their minds. Like, it's 2025. We work too hard to have autonomy, to always have to be connected to what a man likes and what a man doesn't like. If y'all constantly keep saying, oh, men don't like when women dress like this, men don't like when women wear their hair like this, wear lashes, wear makeup, this or whatever, and a woman is still doing those things that a man doesn't want, wouldn't that tell you that we don't fucking care?
I mean, who's right? Are women being more revealing nowadays?
Right.
Absolutely.
Or should older women keep their opinions to themselves?
No, she should vocalize her opinion, because at the end of the day, women are able to show their ass. Women are able to bust it wide open, bend over in every camera, every angle, and nobody says anything to them. So why is she not able to vocalize her opinion about wanting to see more of a conservative side from younger women?
Because they want to be.
Why did we all align on the same line? Why do we all have to follow the trends of promiscuousness and not be able to dial it back? I don't understand. Why is she a pick me because she has an opinion that is unpopular? That is, I guess, contrary to popularity.
I would call her pick me. Oh, I'm sorry, Jet. Well, I was just gonna say,
I would disagree with you on that point. Oh, damn, girl.
No, it's the delay. Go ahead, girl. You go and then Dylan can go.
Okay. Just because a woman dresses provocatively, I'm not going to say she's a whole promiscuous. I will say that. However, what I will say is Phylicia Rashad was absolutely correct. as a woman myself, I pride myself in modesty. If you go to my Instagram, I don't have my ass out, my titties out, and I like to be fully covered. And I still give. Okay, you can still be a presentable woman and be nice and sexy without having your ass and your titties out. However, if that's what you decide to do, I'm not judging you. Just know what comes with that. You become over sexualized. People will perceive you as being promiscuous or a hoe. And she was right. Most men, can't say all, because some do wife them up, but a lot of men don't want their wife out there like that. But they do cheat with them kind of women. But
That's true. That's true. I think for the most part, men will be with any woman, whether she dresses well or not. Now, the type of woman they want to take to their mama is probably going to be the type of woman that dresses well. But what's so interesting is, if you guys watch the beginning of the video, how she just simply, she was so nice and elegant and class. The way she's just simply said she doesn't like that the women are dressing so bad out here, almost naked, and men don't want that. And then the TikTok girl is like, oh, she should shut up. Women don't dress for men. But the truth of the matter is, there are things men do for women and women do for men. The same way, if a man is sagging his pants and throwing signs around, most women don't want to deal, well, classy women don't want to deal with a man who's, projecting gangster kind of lifestyle. A man who's sagging his pants is different from a man who's well dressed, dress shirt, maybe even a nice suit with a tie. So the thing is, both men do some things for women, and men can agree that, hey, listen, if you have a nice, well-groomed haircut, dress well, smelling good, most women want that. And the same way, if a woman is well dressed, compared to a sexy red, all chicks out, twerking all over the place, some guys are also gonna like that. So there are things men do for women and there are things women do for men. That's all Phylicia Rashad said. But women attacked her. Now imagine if it was a man. He would get canceled.
Most of the time they don't want their wife out there like that. So I agree with her. She was right. She was spot on.
Wait, so if she dresses like a hoe, she's not a hoe in your eyes?
Not necessarily. I don't think a woman
walk like a dog, if you talk like a duck,
same thing as sexuality. Because there are women who dress provocatively and ain't touched a woman. I mean, and hasn't touched a man in months or a year. And there's women who dress modest and who got, and I'm not judging, they might have 10 bodies in a month. So we can't go based off of what a woman wears. Could it be an indicator? Yes, but is it completely factual that is what she is? We can't determine that.
So you think?
Yeah, but no one sits around to find out if she's a hoe or not. No one sits around to find out if a man sagging his pants with the tattoos all over his face and throwing gangster signs is a gangster or is in a gang and does some crazy stuff or not. No one has time to sit around and figure out who you are. What you present, how you're dressed is the first thing most people see. How you're dressed, how you present yourself. Are you well groomed? Do you smell good? Do you look like you take a shower? Your teeth, everything. That's the first impression people get. No one is going to sit around and figure out, who's, are you a hoe? Are you in the streets just because you're dressed like that? Maybe you're a church girl on the inside, but on the outside, you want to show that you're naked and stuff. Like, no one has time to figure those things out. What you show is what most people are going to take.
Think that they're going to have less bodies than the woman that's clothed? She's naturally gonna get more attention from men.
They could. You can't judge a book by its cover.
They could.
Is it
You definitely can, though.
Yes.
We're
It's not complete fact though.
But we're in a very judgmental ass society, though. If I see Brittany Renner, right, prior to her being a Muslim now, and she's dressing scandalous, hopping on random men's penis, she's a hoe in my eyes, right?
But you just said hopping on random man's penis. And what I'm saying is that if you decide to dress like that, just know what comes with that.
Okay, so let's do this. Because nowadays girls are now dressing in them see-through tops and having pasties over their nipples. I'm sorry, to me that's very hoe.
You just the internet hoe, bro. What's the difference?
No, even outside, that's very hoish to me. So I'm gonna be judgmental. But to me, you're going outside seeking attention like hoes do. So to me, you're wanting to be looked at as a hoe.
So why are you mad when people give you that energy? When people say, a hoe and you're dressed like a hoe, you look like a hoe, you walk like a hoe, you talk like a hoe, you a hoe. So what's the problem?
Would you say the same thing about a young man who got his pants hanging halfway off his ass, acting like a thug? Would you say they not all thugs? Some of them are good guys.
Yeah, I would say if a man has
want to be a thug, his pants is around his ankles.
So a lot of dudes that post pics and do stuff to front to get that energy.
I'm saying he out there walking and talking like that, acting hard, he doing everything they're doing. But he just ain't a gangbang. He just don't, huh?
The next Steven Spielberg, for all we know. My thing is I'm a big believer in giving and showing grace, and I don't always judge a book by its cover, because you'll be surprised when you open that book what's inside of that.
No, I mean, I can understand the aspect of giving grace, but the thing is, we are all adults. Give grace to someone who shows that they actually need grace. But if someone comes to you being rude, your guard is going to go up. You're not required to show them grace in that instance. If someone comes and they're dressing crazy, they smell, it's like they have taken 1,000 years without taking a shower. They don't look well put together, and it's an adult. It's not a kid. It's an adult. There's a reason they are like that. And sometimes, most of the times, 99% of the time, it's a choice. So how you present yourself, that's how people are going to take you. No one has time to figure out why you haven't taken a shower in 1,000 days, and why you're sagging your pants as a man, why your beard is growing like crazy, why you haven't had a haircut in 1,000 years. Even women are not even going to give you that grace. So let's be honest here.
You don't want to be judged. So I think it's imperative that we don't do the same to other people. That's why I said it's indicators, but it's not.
Let me ask you a question. When you go on a job interview, do you dress like you for the streets?
It depends on the job, because not every job requires.
No. Like, let's just say, for example, you're trying to get a professional job. You're going into corporate America. If you go on that job interview, do you dress like you for the streets?
Good question.
I wouldn't know.
Why not?
You don't.
Do you think that somebody should give grace and still hire the person that dresses like that, or is the way that they dress a reflection of what they think about the job? Is everything that you're doing
scenario because
how you dress, whether or not you got your hair right, if you smell halfway decent or whatever, or should they not judge a book by its cover?
I think
because it's a rhetorical question. I already understand what the answer is. The point that I'm making is that every day we dress for the job that we want.
Facts.
Whether or not you actually going to get a man, whether you want to be presenting yourself a certain type of way as far as how the world perceives you, whether or not you putting out certain energy so that people can think a certain thing about you on the internet, every single day you are dressing for the job that you want, whether it's a professional job, whether it's a social job, or whether it's the type of company that you keep. I don't understand why this is such a difficult thing for people to understand, why you should not dress promiscuous and why it's necessary for us to judge you, because I don't even look at it as judging. I look at it as a defense mechanism. When you evaluate what your circumstances are, if you're walking down a dark alley and you see 3 guys down there and they got a hoodie, you don't say, "Oh, I don't judge."
Facts.
No, you turn the fuck around and you get the hell out of there, because it's a way for you to make sure that it's self-preservation to save your life.
And you know what's funny? The ladies always want to be given grace. Oh, she's dressed like she's promiscuous. Give her grace. Maybe she's a good girl inside. Okay, she's out twerking, out in the streets twerking, booty shots. Give her grace. But you know who they never give grace? They never give men grace. If they see you sagging your pants, you've not had a haircut in 3 months, you're not 6 feet, they're not going to give you grace. Even if you are a billionaire, they will never know. You know why? Because they never give you grace. So if we're going to ask for people to give ladies grace, we should play fair and square. Okay, you want us to give you grace that even if you're dressed this way, you're half naked, but you're a good girl. Okay, don't judge me for my height. Give me grace. I could be taller. Maybe I cut off my legs today. Tomorrow I could be taller. Maybe I'm rich. I may not show it, but maybe I'm rich. Give us grace. But they never do that.
You don't just jump out and say, "I don't judge," but we use that as an excuse in order to justify the bad behavior of women. You cannot walk out there and be promiscuous. You cannot continue to present yourself a certain way and think that you're supposed to be treated like a queen. Phylicia Rashad said that y'all are queens. Why are you basically dressing this way?
Facts.
And you know what these ugly, funky hoes did? They rejected her and said that she was a pick me.
Right. And she's too old for all that. That's
they called her a pick me after she tried to give y'all some game. To answer the question, I think that the older women that are actually good women, because it's a lot of older women that was for the streets. The older women that are good women shouldn't tell y'all shit. I think that they should just let y'all suffer.
But I mean, I see what Anton is trying to say, but the issue is if the older good women don't speak up, that's why we're going to be in the same roller coaster of what's going on, what's going wrong in the community. Personally, I believe women like, Phylicia Rashad should speak up, give game to the women who will listen. The same thing applies to men. The older men should speak up to us younger men to tell us, hey, this is how you move, this is what you do, this is how you grind, don't have kids out of wedlock, get married before you have babies, things like that. So for me personally, I kind of disagree with Anton Daniels. I believe people who are older than us, who are wiser than us, they know more than us, more experience, they know better what's right from wrong and how to navigate different life situations. I believe they should give us some game. Because other than that, if we are learning things on our own, we're going to make more mistakes because we have way more temptations right now, especially with social media. Even if they know that they're going to be attacked, they're going to be called pick-me's, the younger generation don't want to listen to those guys because they're not on their phones like them, they don't have Instagram, but I believe they should speak up.
Horrendously.
That's what makes
y'all reject good counsel, and it does them no good to actually give y'all the game. That's
some people reject good counsel.
Put your comments towards all women because all women don't feel that way. I think it's a lot of
well, then hold the ones accountable. That's
it does matter.
That's the point because there's nobody in the comment section for the women that disagree,
and it's not all women. And it's a lot of women that. No, I'm just saying, it's a lot of women that agree with Phylicia Rashad. Like that was one person.
Well, then hold
her opinion.
A bunch of them.
She did not agree.
They're not gonna go into another person that doesn't agree with Phylicia. They're not gonna be in the comment section and tell her she's crazy. They're gonna.
There's a bunch of them that was going against her.
You can't go broader conversation.
It's called the sisterhood. Even the women who agree with Phylicia Rashad usually get scared of saying what she's saying is right because they have friends who don't like what Phylicia Rashad said and they don't want to be called pick-me's as well. So they have friends who are in the sisterhood. So what they do is they also just keep quiet. So the ones with the loudest voices are the ones who are usually calling people names every time they try to hold them accountable.
I think it opens a broader conversation outside of if she's a whore not dressing that way or not. The fact is, there's a lot of trauma, right? You see a lot of women now screaming more than ever that they don't need men. But at the same time, simultaneously, they're dressing more naked than ever. Now, we know this isn't true that they don't actually need men because we need each other. So underlying, there's this emptiness and this trauma, which is why they're saying that. But the biggest problem in the conversation I'm talking about is women are more comfortable being naked than vulnerable because vulnerable means honesty. It means being open about how you truly feel. Let the man know you're
right.
Whoa. So you mean
they'll be butt naked, but still won't be vulnerable.
Is right. Let me tell you something. I am a wife coach. It's what I do for a profession.
Me too.
I help women. Excuse me. I help women cultivate wife-like mindsets when they're trying to attract marriage-minded men. And what I see with most of my clients is they lack self-esteem based off of their trauma. They can't heal. They don't know how to heal. And so when you try to give them instruction on how to heal, it's always met with resistance. It's always met with backlash or some type of prerequisite in their mind to tell them like, no, I need to do this. I'm valuable this way. And majority of the time, 9 times out of 10, they've never been told that you are more valuable the less you do, the less.
Yeah, the reason they've never heard of that is because most of us didn't grow up with fathers. And even our fathers didn't grow up with their fathers. So no one was there to teach us. Now, I get it. We are adults. We should make our own decisions. But at the end of the day, this is why I was saying that ladies like Phylicia Rashad, the older generation who know better than us and want us to want to see us do better, should speak up. Those who take the message will take it. Those who don't take the message won't take it. But I rather they speak up, even if they're gonna be attacked. The sisterhood is gonna attack them, but I rather they speak up and give us game, and those who take it will take it, and that could be a better chance for helping shaping the community and changing it. Otherwise, we are all. I mean, it's getting worse, and we all know if in a community where men are separate and women are separate, things just fall apart.
Unless you contribute to what the general population of younger women are doing. And I think it makes them have FOMO. It makes them have a fear of being left out, not being liked, not being accepted. But
I would agree with everything you said.
It's a rebellious act. And I think the women that call her pick me are just women that they can't articulate very well their defense on why they want to be so rebellious in the first place. Their rebellion is their form of control. And to that, because we got way off, the woman who commented in the video who said that something about why does it always track back to a man? Because it does. No matter how much these women say they don't need a man or want one.
Come on, Dalen, tell them. Yeah.
Girls, we the one getting a phone call 2:00 in the morning, hearing the police sirens in the background. Girl, what did happen again? You do want these men, but it's easy to reject what you cannot get. And they know that men that they want do not find anything attractive about being loose. If you want to be loose, they just don't want to accept the consequences that come with it, So I don't think how it's a representation of their character. It's not so much of what you are, who you are. It's, well, look how you present yourself. You wouldn't want your man coming out looking like a dirty pookie. So why would you come outside looking like,
But you can't conflate that though. I mean, you still on point.
They just go to a lot of times it's how they perceive their value, which is why they're naked.
Let's just say what it is, man. The nature of a woman is terrible. We don't have a benevolent society of women. Okay, women don't police up women because of this reason.
Yes,
listen. No, y'all don't.
Y'all enable the most bad behavior ever. Y'all enable the worst behavior.
You give your face. Remember Q when I told you about that? Remember?
Women don't police up women.
2K is right. 2K right here is right. Women don't police women. Even the good women have friends who are, ratchet. They don't police them because, like I said, they don't want to be called pygmies. So she'll have her homegirls. She may not hang out with them as much, but she will still have those homegirls who can sometimes, have that bad influence. But when they see them doing something bad, they're not confrontational. So they just, okay, she sees her doing whatever, she's not going to speak up.
You will get your ass whooped. You will get hit. You will get
How can you say women police up women when you had in 2020 Beyonce endorsing OnlyFans like she'll pop up puss on there?
Facts.
Well, you can give an example why you think it don't happen, and I'm gonna give you one why it don't happen. We can go tip for tat. I'm telling you, in real life, not celebrities, what happens when friends try to hold their friends accountable or their sisters or their teammates, they get the knuckles or they get something else. That's
hey, 2K. The only time I done seen women try to police other women is when a woman I'm dealing with think another woman want me. So she telling me, watch out for her ass, she wants you. Other than that, women do not tell other women that they fear other women. They watch out for other women because they know women be on bullshit. So when they outwardly speak against the bad behavior of women, hell no.
Yeah, actually, another time women look out for other women is if they see the boyfriend cheating. So women will tell their girlfriends, hey, I saw your man cheating. I saw him with another woman. Right? But they will never tell the guy, hey, I saw your girlfriend, my bestie, I saw her with another man. They will never do that. Now, maybe guys don't do that, but usually guys don't become friends that close with a guy's woman. And in fact, to some extent, some guys guys are more likely to tell the girl that their homeboy is cheating because they're trying to get with the girl. Those are, funky guys, but sometimes it happens.
That's not true at all.
Dialogue.
My group of friends, I hold them accountable.
Man, we're not hearing this
Oh
one
my God.
indole
Whatever
experience,
they want
man.
to do. But I'm gonna hold my friends accountable every time. They
That's what most women say. Oh, me and my group of friends, me and my group of friends. So if all your group of friends and this girl has a group of friends and this girl has a group of friends and this one their group of friends never do that, how come for some reason when we come to the majority they're on some bullshit? If all of you say your group of friends doesn't do that, how come when it comes to the majority of the population they're on some bullshit? That doesn't make sense.
hold me accountable every time.
So Deja.
And I think that way before you go, I think
You're
Phylicia
rare, then. You're rare.
is having a standard.
Man, don't believe her, Kevin.
I'm not going to not believe, but I'm just going to tell her she's rare because we know that's not the most. We know that's not the
Can you shut the fuck up?
She's not rare.
Well, here's the thing.
Y'all gotta do one mic. Y'all gotta do one mic. One mic.
Women should hold. Phylicia Rashad was like the perfect person to say what she said, because I think that older women should give younger women the game. That's their role. They have to pass down the game. It's not a lot of older women that are living long in these times, or older men that are living long. This is why the generations are being lost, and then a lot of people are having kids younger and younger, and
I agree.
they're getting passed down. So what she said,
All right, man. I'll keep it right there. I will link down below the full link to Anton Daniel's channel. What do you guys think about that? Like I said, I believe that the older generation should give us guys who are younger the game so that we know what to do, especially if you didn't grow up with a father, you didn't grow up with a mother, or maybe you grew up with them, but they didn't know any better either. The people who did it well, the wins, because if we're going to look up to Sexy Red, we might as well look up to Phylicia Rashad as well. If you're going to look up to Beyonce, we might look up to, another, lady from back in the generation who was the epitome of elegancy and class, Shahrazad Ali, people like that. But what do you guys think about that? All right. So up next, we have this guy. He decided to be a stepfather to a single mom, raise the kids, and as usual, it never ends well. Let's get into it.
Yep, I'm him. I'm the dude. I was the provider. I was the family man. I was the one that took care of the kids, even her kids. Okay, when I didn't have any of my own children. Okay, I held the house down, took care of her in a health crisis. She had full-blown epilepsy, and I made sure that she didn't seize out and die many times. Saved her life, right? Middle of a health crisis. She didn't have to work for 4 years out of our relationship, out of 11 years. Didn't have to work. Whole time she was pregnant, didn't have to work. Didn't have a care in the world when it came to bills, when it came to taking care of her children, when it came to just little extra things. I couldn't afford luxurious things, but I did have enough money to afford some extras here and there. I tried my best, did everything I could.
So the issue is, there is no way any man is going to watch this video and go, oh my God, I can't wait to be a stepfather to kids that don't belong to me. Because I can guarantee you, everything he just named he was doing for this woman, her baby daddy did do half of those things. I can guarantee you. So here he comes trying to be a stepfather, trying to be Captain Save a Day, and then she finally leaves him after he has been investing time, energy, emotions, bonding with those kids that don't belong to him. So how is any man supposed to watch this and be like, you know what? I can't wait to marry a single mom. I can't wait to be a stepfather to some guy's kids that don't belong to me.
Only in the end to be discarded like trash. And 8 years in,
wow, 8 years.
She's had a relationship with a whole man behind my back. But then when I find out about it and I call her out for disrespect, she tells me she did it because I would not abandon my kids.
Wow.
To be discarded because I was a good man. And then you want to act like she's such a good person. No accountability. Acts like it's okay to wish death on you. Acts like it's okay to curse your children and tell you that because you did not abandon your kids, that makes you less of a man. And it makes it that you couldn't keep a family together when that's the reason you left or didn't come back, because you got put out for being disrespectful. But then I thought, it would probably be better to raise my son with his mother than to raise him apart. So I said, you know what? Maybe we can find a way to reconcile this.
Man, this is a sad story. So again, for those of you who have missed it, he met a single mom, started taking care of her kids, being a stepfather, but I think along the way they decided to have kids too. So now he's taking care of kids from a different man and taking care of his own kids with a woman, and she cheated on him. Now, are we saying women who don't have kids don't cheat? No, but the investments in the beginning that he put into someone else's kids, he could have put those investments in his own kids. But now he's built a bond with those kids that don't belong to him, invested money. That money he invested in those kids that don't belong to him, he could have saved that money for his own kids for college. You feel me? But now he's on the internet realizing it's not worth it. Now, I like the video because at least this will be a wake-up call for some guys. Now, are there some great single moms? Yeah. But at the end of the day, when she leaves, those kids don't belong to you. The baby daddy can come back anytime because they have a bond, and the bond is called kids forever and ever. So you got to think twice, guys.
But then, because I would not abandon my kids, you decide it's not worth it, or you decide discard them like trash. But it's okay, because you know what? The whole point of this is to bring awareness to my son and the young kings and let you guys know it's not worth it. And I heard a saying a long time ago that smart men don't get married. Okay? Just keep it pushing. It's not worth it. Not in today's society, not in today's world. Okay? Not saying that there aren't rare people out there. Rare people who value love, value relationships, and value communication. They actually value family. There are people, they're rare. And if you find them, you hold on to them, you don't let them go.
I agree, they're very rare because most of us didn't grow up in that family structure. So it's going to be very hard for someone who didn't grow up seeing the mom and dad in the same household, talking well, not even arguing, in love and working together. If they didn't see that as a kid, because you got to remember, guys, everything we saw and learned as kids is ingrained in us, subconsciously or consciously. We may not do exactly what we saw. So let's say you had two parents who are fighting. You may not yourself fight physically, but you're going to fight mentally with your partner at some point. Because it's going to be a defensive mechanism. It's something going to be where your brain turns to that. That's all they know. It takes a lot of work to switch away from that. So he's right. Are there good people? Yes. But if no one is teaching you how to find the good people or what the good people look like, and you didn't see it when you were growing up, how are you going to find the good people?
Right. Because to be done and to be treated the way I was treated for being a good man, being the provider, I had my insecurities when it came to dating women with children anyway. But I got over that because I felt like, you know what? Every woman deserves a chance. And I'm the product of a single mother. Okay? My father was there, but my dad died when I was young. So it's like my mom raised us pretty much by herself. And, I turned out pretty good. But that's funny because, leave it up to...
You didn't turn out pretty good, bro. I'm going to be honest. And I want to give you grace, but you didn't turn out pretty good. Because of exactly what you're talking about. If you turned out pretty good, you would know what type of risks to take. And one of the risks you don't want to take is having to invest in kids that don't belong to you. Because those kids are always going to go back to their biological dad. So shout out to your mom Shout out to all the single moms who do their best to raise sons out here. But at the end of the day, you need a male figure. We all need male figures when we grow up in single mother households as boys. Especially male figures who are going to show us the way. Don't do this, don't do that. Because if we try to figure it on our own, this is how we get to where he is right now. But this is sad to be able to provide and protect someone else's kids and then they cheat on you. That's bad. That's like it's like the disrespect. And you could find out that she cheated on him, but you could find that she never cheated on her baby daddy the time they were together. Crazy work.
The woman that discarded me after she has my son adds to the problems of the generational curse that young black men have to this day anyway.
Facts.
But I've got to teach my son to never go through that shit.
Facts.
And honestly, I don't know, man. Like it's crazy because I have never been disrespected by a woman of another race. It seems like the women in my race, my own people, disrespect me more than anything.
He's definitely going white and he's never coming back. I'm telling you, like after this experience, he's never going to deal with a single mom again. And in fact, there's no man, like I said, is going to watch this video and be like, oh my God, I can't wait to marry a single mom. Oh my God, I can't wait to take care of kids that don't belong to me. No man who's ever going to watch this and be like, I can't wait. Like I said, that there are single moms who are great. Sure, maybe they lost maybe their husband died. But at the end of the day, in the back of their mind, they know you're not the father. You are there to fulfill a purpose. You are there playing a position. You are not the main character. They're never going to put you first because those are not your kids.
That is the sad reality. I'm not saying that it's all of them, but every black woman I've ever been with in my life is disrespectful as fuck. And that is the truth. And that is the truth. And I have the receipts. Just don't be faithful. Don't provide. Don't give these bitches shit.
He's mad. Which, I mean, there's a good number of good black women, but like I said, it's very hard to find them. And obviously, they may be good, but if they have friends who are not good, there may be sabotage at any point. Let's say she's in a relationship with you, she's a good woman, but her friends are bad women. If you guys have issues, as we all know, usually the woman runs to her friends and then they give her bad advice and then she sabotages the relationship. Men have their own issues as well. Like I said, he admitted he didn't grow up with a father. So maybe those are some of the things that come up when he's trying to choose a woman. He doesn't know how to choose a good woman because no man ever showed him how to choose a good woman. Usually fathers do that job. Be like, hey, pick a woman who doesn't do this, who does that, blah, blah, blah. Don't get with a woman who already has kids, start your own family. He didn't do that. But like I said, shout out to this brother. I hope he can be a good role model to his son so his son doesn't have to go through exactly what he went through. But I'll put down the link below to his TikTok. What do you guys think about that? That was crazy. All right, next up, we have this lady. She has 6 kids by 4 different baby daddies, and she's proud of it. She says she doesn't care what you gotta say. She's the prize. Let's go.
I have 6 kids with 4 baby daddies. 4 baby daddies. You heard that right. I'm just gonna roast myself for the next 2 minutes, so I get asked every single day, who's dad? Who's this? We're just going to give you all a little rundown, okay? I'm going to give you a little bit of the history of my awful taste in men. This is my first husband and baby daddy. I married him in 2014 when I was 18 years old. My 2 older daughters I had with him, Tegan and Olivia, and we got divorced in 2018. This is my second baby daddy. Dwayne. We had Remy together. Remy is now adopted. The drama, the lore, the insane, I literally can't even put into words the horrors that I went through with this man.
I have a feeling, apart from the fact that this is even a crazy video to make, I have a feeling she's making this video to expose the baby daddies so that other women don't want them. But the craziest thing is she could also be marketing these guys because other women like men like that. So this seems like an expose video. Is that the word? Trying to shit on the baby daddies as bad people, because as you can see, she hasn't really said anything nice so far about the baby daddies. But this is crazy to sit there and try to expose your baby daddies. It's crazy work.
Your mind would be blown if you knew what I went through with this person. Okay. Haven't heard from him in years. Want to keep it that way. This is, oh, wrong picture. Hold on. Wrong picture again. There we go. This is my third baby daddy, who I'm sure most of you know. This is Zach. We had Alea together, but technically I just had her because he's non-existent also. He fathers the child that my husband has raised since she was 2 months old.
So at what point was she supposed to say, hey, listen, okay, I'm not choosing good guys. Maybe I shouldn't be making babies with them. Or I shouldn't be making babies with every man that I get with. Especially as you can see, like I told you, this was a video where she made it to expose guys. And looks like this guy is always in jail. So she could have stopped at some point and maybe baby daddy number 2 to stop having kids with ain't shit men.
So, and then we have my 4th baby daddy and my 2nd husband. 4th time is a charm, right? This is my now husband of 4 years, Brian, and we have 2 kids together. And he has been Alea's daddy since she was pretty much born. My baby daddy drama lore is dark and deep and insane. And I wish I could just like go back to my younger self and be like, what the actual fuck are you doing? Yeah. But there you go. There's all my kids' dads for everyone who keeps fucking asking me. 2 of them I don't even care to fucking mention. But now you know.
I mean, shout out to this guy. I don't know what he was drinking to think being the 4th baby daddy is going to be such a legendary achievement in the history books. His first question should have been, if the other 3 didn't work out with you and you are the common denominator, what is wrong with you? Because even if I wish them the best, history is likely to repeat itself, and he's going to be the next ex-husband, the next ex-baby daddy. She will probably get a 5th. What do you guys think? I'll link down below her TikTok. This was crazy. That's why I wanted to review it. All right, next up, shout out to the Daily Wrap-Up crew, man. Great content, great questions. Let's get into it, man. Is it true that women don't care if men are happy anymore? Or has it always been like that? Do women care? Or do women only care that men should care about the fact that they're happy or unhappy in relationships? Let's get into it.
First topic, like, do you think women comply with the needs of men in relationships today?
What are the needs that you're talking about? Can you like clarify what it is?
The fact that you even have to ask what a man's needs are in a relationship, that's crazy. Can you imagine if a man asked a woman or a group of women what women's needs are in a relationship? You should know, especially if you're an adult. They want to provide a protector, emotional stability, someone who listens, someone who's kind, someone who plans, decisive. The list goes on. But she doesn't know what men want in a relationship or their needs? Damn.
This, I guess, needs as far as, what makes a man happy as far as in a relationship. Like, you know what I mean? Like men, I think men, from my experience, at least in my relationships, the relationship very much becomes one-sided, and some women, at least in my experience, think that the relationship is about them being happy most of the time. Like, you get what I'm saying? So they don't really cater to a man's happiness or his needs because they feel like they are the ones that always has to be happy in that relationship. And I think sometimes that's how men operate as well, because we're so busy trying to please our women that we do neglect our own needs and happiness as far as in a relationship. Like, you get what I'm saying? So,
well, what's a man's?
That's facts. As men, we are programmed to cater to a woman, to give. plan the date, ask me out, call me, text me, listen to me, do it for me. Even when you ask what you bring to the table, they say, I'm the table. So men are literally, we are programmed to give, and never to receive anything. And in fact, if you say you are expecting anything from a woman, they call you sassy. They call you insecure. They call you gay.
Needs though. That's the thing. Like, what's a need? Like, what's
respect, companionship, someone to listen that's gonna listen to me as well as I'm listening to them.
Because I feel like also that and still get played. Like,
but also you gotta. Every man is not the same. You gotta ask your man what he needs.
Why did you get with me in the first place if I didn't provide those things in the first place?
Because most men are desperate. Because most men are desperate. That's why a man will get a woman. That's why men are even stuck in sexless relationships. You're wondering, why don't you leave if you don't get any intimacy? Like, I don't know, bro. I'm just doing it for the family, man, for the kids. But women leave the relationships, break up families, get divorced, divorce their husbands every day for their own happiness. But most men do it because we have been programmed to do that. Men are taught how to treat women nice, but women are never taught how to treat a man. They're taught how to expect a man to treat them.
Maybe you was providing them things in the beginning.
Yeah, maybe we all know people provide. They always put their best foot forward, like, you know what I'm saying, in the beginning, and then once they. Well, I mean, that's the thing too. But once they get that relationship, men and women, they do the same thing, right? But once they get that significant other in a relationship, then they start to, not do the same things that they did before. And now it becomes, all right, well, you got to keep me happy. You know what I mean? So I think, as far as the men, I think that's where they're coming from. And like, even you asking that question is like, what are men's needs? It's like, men are human creatures, just like we have
but I
needs.
feel like we give it our all and then we get tired, and then that's when it ends.
What do you mean you give it your all? If you don't even know what men need, what is it exactly that you give your all then? You don't know what men need. So clearly whatever you're giving your all is not what men need. What?
That's how it is. That's how it is. What woman starts off a piece of shit woman? It's always where we do the most. You guys do the bare minimum, and then we go to doing the bare minimum.
Lie. A man starts by asking you out, calling you, planning dates, taking you out, buying gifts, spending on you, investing on you, listening to you. What do you start out doing? You start out saying you are the table, you are the prize. So what is doing the most? I really want to know, like, I'm asking genuinely, what is doing the most that they do exactly in the beginning? Because she said she starts out in the beginning doing the most. I can name all the doing the most that men do when it starts out. What is doing the most that she does or that women do that they claim they do for a man? Crickets? Yeah, that's what I thought.
Sometimes I feel like women don't appreciate the small things that guys do. They overlook that.
Exactly.
And then the guy starts depreciating because it's like, oh, I did this little small thing and you didn't recognize that. So now I'm gonna act a fool.
I also feel like it has to do with like your partner's love language. If you're not able to know how your partner likes to be loved, then you're not going to be able to make them happy because you're not loving them the way that they like to be loved. Exactly. I could love you the way that I could love you. I like physical touch and words of affirmation. But if that doesn't do that for you and yours is like acts of service, me loving you as the best as I can isn't going to make you happy because I'm not giving you those acts of service that you feel loved.
But honestly, I don't believe in that whole acts of love and love languages BS. And the reason I don't is because most men are kind of the same. Respect me. Don't yell at me. Have a conversation. Peace. Make a sandwich. Romance. That's it. Most guys will take that deal. So no guy has like a specific love language. You gotta do this. And if you don't know, maybe ask him. Because men are always asking, hey baby, what can I do for you? Hey, buy me a gift. Take me shopping. Do this. Men ask. How about you? Ask me what I want.
Do you think that women take the time to learn their man's love language?
I feel like men are scared to be vulnerable with their love languages, which is
she didn't answer his question. She's flipped it and blaming men. He asked, do women take time? I feel like she blamed the men. Damn.
Why? Yeah. I feel like Has anybody even ever asked you that? Like any of your partners? Like how do you like to be loved?
That's what I'm saying. I've never been asked that.
See?
And women will tell me their love language, but they won't reciprocate. Hey, babe, what's your love? They'll damn sure tell you all like words of affirmation and all these gifts and all this other
I heard
stuff.
all five and
But
all.
why do you spread that out of
All
you
of
guys?
them.
Why not communicate it the way we communicate it?
Ask us, so that the least thing you can do is ask a man, so that he knows that you actually care. If you don't ask me, I'm like, okay, maybe she doesn't want to know. Because I'm going to ask you, what do you like? Do you like flowers? What kind of food do you like? Oh, I like Ruth Chris. I like steak. I like this and that. Yeah. So just buy me that. And she never says, what do you like? What can I cook for you? If she doesn't say that, clearly she's not interested.
But why not just reciprocate the question? Like
exactly.
If you felt the need to tell me your love languages, why can't you just be like, hey, babe,
but you didn't
these are
ask
my
me.
love languages.
I'm
What
just
are
telling
your love languages? Like, you know what I mean?
Like you guys say, sometimes it's hard for us to share how our feelings are, right? So maybe you bringing that up to us, we don't know what the fuck that is at some point. You get what I'm saying? It's hard for men to express their emotions and shit like that because we're not used to it. He say he never been asked this shit. You get what I'm saying? So how the fuck would he know what it is? You know what I'm saying?
That's
So
true,
at the same
'cause I
time,
never thought to think, what's a guy's...
But I feel like y'all should take the time to know yourself. So most guys don't take the time to know themselves in order to be able to ask those questions.
And I feel like that has to do with social media, because they see what, you know, not their idols, but like rappers or ball players and what they have. So they're like, oh, what do they show? So it's like it sets almost like an idea like that's not real. And so they don't know how to be loved.
But again, we're going back to the question of, you know, do women care about the needs of, you know, men in a relationship?
They don't.
If we're talking about love languages, as a woman, why would you not ask your partner if you really want to make him happy in that relationship? Why do you have to say, oh, why aren't you telling me your love language? Why aren't you asking those questions to get that out of him?
Because you guys are not asking, we're telling. So we probably expect the same thing for you guys to just tell us.
That's not true. Men ask, where do you like to go? Where do you like to go eat? Do you like clubs? Do you like these? Do you like lounges? Do you like brunch? Men do ask. Because they like to cater to a woman. They like to do things women like. Because if you don't, she's going to leave you anyway. So how about reciprocate? Okay, maybe you're not going to do exactly what I'm doing, but how about you just ask me, hey, baby, what do you like? Do you like spaghetti? Meatballs? What do you like?
But if you say men are closed off, wouldn't you be more open to asking him so he would feel comfortable telling you?
It's not my responsibility for you to tell me, open your mouth and tell me what it is that you want.
I think
exactly. She just said it. It's not her job to ask the man she's dating what he likes. That's all you guys need to know. But it's your job to do what she likes. Let me repeat that because some of you missed this. It's not her job to ask you what you like as the man she's dating, but it's your job to do what she wants. I hope that didn't go over your heads.
it's a partnership where you got to get the best and the worst out of your partner. You get what I'm saying? If you communicate like, oh, okay, you might be lacking in this department. Let me help enhance this part that I can clearly get out of.
That's not our job. That's
not. Wow.
You gotta come emotionally healed. Men like to get into relationships and be emotionally unintelligent. And we get into relationships and we're emotionally intelligent.
We like,
so
wow.
That's why we could come
But do y'all
I know what I am. Y'all want us to tell you what you are, and that's not.
No, that's not what I'm
They
saying.
want us to ask, but it's like at the end, we're not your moms. You gotta just communicate. Open your mouth.
Yo.
Oh, by the way, babe, you know what I'm saying? Oh, that's how you like to be loved. By the way, I like to be loved X, Y, and Z.
There is no man in his right mind who's gonna watch this and say, oh my God, I can't wait to be in a relationship with a woman like this. There's no man who's gonna watch this video and be like, oh my God, this is the woman that God, please send me a woman like this. God, please send me a woman like this, who never takes accountability, who thinks it's not her job to ask me what I like or to even do what I like, but she expects me to do exactly what she likes. There is no man in the history of life who's gonna wish that. This is bad. This is sad to watch.
So everything in a relationship that y'all require, y'all come with, is what you saying?
Nobody said that.
You said it.
So where y'all lack at, men is picking up y'all slack.
Exactly.
So where we lack at, y'all should be doing the same. That's what is a give and take.
Yeah.
Y'all looking at it, we shouldn't be able to do
To
that.
them, it's a take. Gimme. It's never, let me give my man something. Even asking him, hey, baby, how was your day? Random text in the day. No, they expect you to text them in the morning, lunchtime, and nighttime. And if you don't care. They're going to pull out their TikTok and say, he doesn't care about me. He didn't text me today. He didn't call me. It's like, how about you call him? You know he's human too, right?
Like for somebody to say, well, I shouldn't have to ask a man like what makes him happy, like what he likes.
You gotta find about your
but on
partner.
our end, we have to do everything in our will to make
Facts.
sure the woman is happy. So we have to go out of way to ask the question
When
to
you
make her
tell you,
happy.
When you come home and we see you in the mood, we take it upon ourselves to ask you what's wrong with you. We don't have to do that. That's
but we do the same. We're not gonna see you in a bad mood and just be like, oh well.
Okay.
Like, that doesn't happen. And what do? They shut down. No, I'm good. And then I'm not gonna pry it. I'm not gonna pry it out of you.
I do feel like
you sound selfish. I ain't gonna.
Yeah, facts.
Selfish.
She
I
does
couldn't
sound
be in a
selfish.
relationship with a woman that's saying it's not my job to care if you're happy or not. Like that to me.
You see how you see how men like
they like to flip
yeah.
stuff.
Who said that?
Right.
Nah.
And then
Said it's not my job. I would never tell my woman that.
Feel this way and still stay.
This is all for their experience. Not every woman is the same.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, but I'm saying I would never tell my woman, yo, that's not my job to care. But
That's
like,
your mother's
I wouldn't
job.
even
You
think of
find out
saying
what makes
that.
you happy.
No, we're not.
Like,
It's
that's
our
your
job.
father's job.
We're
Like, that- I
saying
would
it's not
never
our
say
job
that.
to ask that because we're not asking you guys. We're telling you.
When-
So
when
why
you're-
not just tell us?
No, when you're talking to someone, you do ask questions. You do figure your partner out.
Absolutely.
All right. So why is it not your job to ask and find out more stuff about a partner?
Because if
So it's an open book. Like, okay, well, let me tell you this. Maybe I didn't get to that part. Maybe you are on that subject or whatever case may be. If you brought it up, there's nothing wrong with you asking me. At the same
I'm
time.
not saying there's nothing wrong with it, but I'm also saying it's not my responsibility for you to communicate how you love to be loved.
But it's your partner. You are dating the man. Why are you dating a man where you find it so difficult to simply ask him what he likes? Because clearly you're not going to know everything. So the least you can do is ask. He doesn't even need you to do it. He just needs to know that you actually even give two facts to simply ask, baby, what do you like? What kind of wine do you drink? What's your favorite food? You don't have to do it. Because most guys, I can guarantee you, most guys who are in relationships or going through relationships, they're not going to relationships expecting to receive anything from women. Maybe romance, but romance is two-way street anyway. But just because he's taking a woman on a date, buying her gifts, most guys are not expecting that in return. And some guys are okay with it. That's why they can be in sexless relationships and toxic relationships and where the woman treats them bad, but they still are there because they're programmed that way.
Just tell me, bro. If we're having a conversation, hey, I like acts of service. Then be like, hey, I like yada, yada, yada. It's a conversation, but men tend not to conversate. It's all
Converse.
whatever. You just, you know what I'm saying? Like you just.
If you feel like I'm lacking like you said, if you feel like I'm lacking, communicate that. Like, babe, you're not picking up my love language.
Damn.
This is what I like. I like flowers, but I feel like men don't like to seem like a pussy.
Right.
So they're not
That's
gonna say,
being
"Oh, I like
vulnerable.
flowers." Like, no, you're not gonna say that. So you
Well, because men don't exactly like the same things as women. So maybe you ask him. But you are saying even asking feels like a job? Yeah.
me to be like, babe, do you like flowers? Even like, yeah.
I think y'all thinking too literal.
Yeah.
And I think what we're trying to communicate is that if you're in a relationship with a significant other, you should take every step to, whether it's directly or indirectly, figure out your partner. That way he can be as happy as, you are in a relationship. It shouldn't be like, well, he didn't open up to me, so that's not my responsibility. And that's what I kind of got from what that might not be what you meant, but that's how I got from when you said it. It's like, well, that's your mother's job to figure that out. And
I
it's
just
like,
feel like it's hard because men it's hard for them to communicate. I've tried a million.
Of course, it's gonna be hard for men to communicate with a woman like you. You're selfish. You're telling them, "Oh, I'm not your mom. I'm not going to do that." Can you imagine what it looks like when this woman gets in a fight with her man and they're having an argument? She's gonna call you all sorts of names. I wouldn't wish that to my worst enemy.
Time,
but I no, I
let
think
me
it.
put it this way: if we were, sucking your dick wrong, you would automatically tell us, right?
No,
So why
no,
would we?
no. Most guys don't even say it because they don't want to offend the woman to stop. Unless she's maybe biting the dick or something and it's really painful. They may just, actually, they may not even say anything. They will just pull her up here and just start to kiss her. But most guys don't even say it, even when it's that bad. Because they don't want to, rock the boat, so to speak. So they won't say nothing.
We have to pry it out of you in our emotional.
But wait. So every in your pussy roll, women say, "Oh, I can't tell my man that." So why do we have to?
I've never heard of that. Women trying to like guide men this way. That way.
No, they don't. No,
we have
no, they don't.
Most women be faking it. Most women be faking it. We're gonna be on that topic. Most women be faking it. Most women be faking it.
Hurt your feelings. I'm gonna tell you, nigga, you're not doing this shit right.
Oh, nah, that's not all there.
So look. Wolf brought up a.
Those are pleasers.
Wolf brought up a very good point. Hold on 1 second, y'all. DJ Envy is married in a marriage, right? And he's in 10 years he did never satisfy his wife.
Yep, I saw that.
So when she's laying in the bed with that man every night. And this is before he was successful. Okay, so yes, he said it openly, like he wasn't satisfying his wife.
Yeah.
But wait, how did he know that though?
She told him. Eventually, she told him. Yeah, I saw that.
Like 7 kids later.
And if you watch 99 out of fucking 100 of our episodes, you're gonna see that women saying, "Oh, I don't know how to tell him. Why should I tell him? Oh, I like men that's more experienced." So at the same time, it's not a common thing.
I want to look out for other women because if he's not doing it right for you, you gonna let him go to the next female doing that?
You can't. But
No.
Damn.
Like you gonna let him continue with that if it's not good for you?
First of all,
you're a really good person.
Yeah, you're a really good person.
I don't give a shit.
I'm not making nobody better to send her off. Like,
Yeah.
Like, you're not gonna come out.
This woman exudes selfishness of the highest order. Like, this is crazy. But anyway, man, this was a crazy video. That's why I wanted to react to it. Shout out to the Daily Wrap-Up crew. Link down below. As you can see, guys, I went 10 minutes in. The other 6 minutes, you're going to have to go to their channel. Check it out. Great content and good conversations. And I love conversations like this because we get to see mindsets between men and women. Because when we are in our own echo chambers, the men say what they say, the women say what they say, and we never come together to talk about these things, we'll never solve issues. Even if clearly all the women on this panel, they're very selfish. This is the most selfish. Look at her face. But at least you can get to see how some women think and how men think. What do you guys think about that? All right, so next up, shout out to Anton Daniels, man. This guy is a beast with content creation. He has like 1,000 channels, but this is one of his other channels, After Hours with Anton Daniels. And good conversation because women don't want to date men who are over 50 because they are broke. Older women are pissed off and mad at older men dating younger women. Let's go.
The men in their 50s are probably one of the most insufferable demographics of men out there. These men are unhappy, financially stunted, mentally stunted, emotionally stunted, and still operating as if they are in their 20s. There's a lot of discord right now with younger women dating significantly older men because they think that these men have it together. They think that these men are mature. They think that these men are financially secure, and they think that these men are able to provide them with a life that a much younger man may not be able to do. And that is in fact not the case. Most of these men that are in their 50s and they're looking to date significantly younger women is because they are not together enough to even date the women that are in their age demographic. So they go after these younger women to ultimately steal the youth of these women. These men are bitter, they are controlling, they are manipulative, and they are extremely unhappy with their lives. Most of them have not put in the work. They don't have a career. Most of them don't have a home. Most of them don't have the finances. And a lot of them are stuck in their ways and jealous of these women who have their whole future ahead of them.
Damn. She
So,
sounds mad.
Woman says that men in their 50s, dating men in their 50s, or let's just say older men in general, is bad. What say you, Carrie? Do you agree or disagree in general? Obviously, we know that no man is a monolith or no group of people is a monolith. Do you agree or disagree with her sentiment about men in their 50s? You're muted, Carrie.
Come back.
Carrie over there struggling. Carrie struggle streaming like a mug tonight. All right, we'll come back to Carrie. Let me go to Molly. Molly, what do you think about what was said?
I think that what that lady said, I hear a lot of women say that about older guys. I have friends who have significant, like, had relationships with significantly older men. And a lot of the time, those men are childish, probably a lot more childish than men in our age bracket, I'll put it like that. I don't really think dating older men is necessarily the flex that social media makes it seem like it is, because a lot of the times those older men are damaged, they have a lot going on, or they might be out of a divorce. And I do think that a lot of them do use younger women to kind of steal their youth. And a lot of the times, younger women will date an older man thinking he's more mature, and he's probably not. It can be draining. I can see how it could be draining.
How can you steal an adult person's youth? Because I can guarantee you, those younger women would rather date a man who's older. Let's say we get a woman who's 25 years old. She would rather date a man who's 50 years old, who has money and is going to spend on her, over a 25-year-old man who doesn't, in her age bracket, who doesn't have the money and is not even willing to spend on her. If we're going to be honest. And all you guys can really be witness to this. They will date a man who's older because most times those guys have the money and they're willing to spend it. So they will leave you at your, same age group, 25, 23, 24, 26, go for an older man. So I don't know what this woman is saying, that older men steal younger women's youth. Maybe then in that case, younger women steal older men's money.
Carrie, what do you think about her sentiment about what most women can expect to date older men?
I think that she sounds like she's coming from a little bit of a salty spot.
Facts. She sounds
a lot of it.
Facts.
First of all, y'all know she was killing me with most men over 50 are this, and most men, and most men, and most men, this is the reason, and most men.
Facts. She sounded like she was talking about the type of older men that she's dating. So in other words, she has met some guys who are 50 or over 50. It didn't go well. Dated them. It didn't go well. Maybe they broke up with her. They ditched her, and she's mad.
The whole time I'm like, how do you know? Like,
I'm proud of you, Carrie.
How the heck do you know?
All I wanted to hear.
I mean, I'm sure there are probably some older men who fit what she's saying, but
yeah.
I would think that older men who target younger women, it's less of I can like front like I'm more of this than that, and more of she's probably more like malleable. She'll do what I want her to do. I won't have to deal with her being set in her ways and having strong opinions. Like I would think it's more down that road. And that's also based off of me hearing older men talk about it. But I don't know. Like I don't have a personal experience with, I don't think it's what she said.
I don't think it's what she said.
Facts. And she kept talking about how older men are stuck in their ways. And clearly she looked like an older woman. She's stuck in her ways too, because clearly she's bitter. Right? For me, all I look about, the way I look at it is men want something from women, women want something from men. So if a woman who's 24, 23 is dealing with a guy who's 50, she knows what she's getting herself into. Usually it's the money. She wants the money because the guy her age, maybe in college, they're in college together. The guys don't have money. And they're not even willing to spend it because they have homework. They gotta buy noodles and shit like that. They gotta go to their part-time job. But the guy who's 50 and has the money, he's gonna spend it. So for her to say men over 50 are broke and they're jealous of older women and this and that, she just sounds jealous that the men who are over 50 can deal and date women who are younger, while a woman her age cannot really date men who are younger.
I don't think that's what she said. And she looks like she had her eyes on somebody.
Yeah.
And they ain't had their eyes on her. She might have took her ring off, but I ain't seen no ring. So I don't know. I'm just kind of mindful of single looking women having such strong feedback and advice and knowledge and wisdom about men.
Facts.
So that's
well, I think she has a point though, because you do get, okay, say a woman is 23, 24, 25. The man is 45 plus, and he's thinking about molding her and her being more malleable. But what happens in another decade or so when she hits 30, 35 plus and things start to change? Because I do see a lot of the times women will get into those situations and then they become resentful after a while because they start to grow up. I just don't see why men would date women whose brain isn't fully developed.
Yeah, I also don't see why women would date men who are rich. I mean, we can have all these hypothetical questions and scenarios. You don't see why men would date, and who says the brain is not fully developed? Because those same women who don't have brains fully developed, they're developed enough to reject men who are their age because they don't have money. In that case, their brains are fully developed because they can detect that the guy my age who I'm in college with is broke, so I'm not going to date him. I'm going to reject him. But for some reason, when the guy who has money, who's older, comes around, now their brains are not fully developed. Do you see how this doesn't make sense?
I don't know. And then a lot of the times I do see older guys, they'll mentally bring themselves down to that girl's level. So I don't know. And I think the internet is glamorizing big age gap relationships.
What's too big for you?
Well, I'm just saying, like, if the man is 50 plus and say she's under the age of 30,
No,
that's a big
like
age
give me a
gap.
number. How many years is age gap too big?
A decade or more. But I think it also depends, because if you're probably 30, 35 dating a woman that's probably in her mid to late 20s. But some men are older and they do try to take advantage of a woman's youth. And I do think that a lot of women do at some point become resentful. And I've had conversations. I have a friend, she's younger than me a little bit, and she had a baby by a man who was in his 70s.
Because she saw the money.
And
I don't like how she keeps saying men are taking advantage of the women, but she's not talking about how women take advantage of those guys and their money. She's not talking about that part. Funny how that works.
The maturity is financially, yes, he is straight financially, but the maturity.
See? There it is. So her friend had a baby with a guy who's 70 because he's financially, he's straight. So clearly she knew that going in, right? But now she's still trying to say her friend is a victim and she was used by an older rich man. Like I said, most women would rather be with a man who's way older than them, who has the money and spending it, than be with a guy their same age who's broke. That is just the facts. They're not building shit with no man who's broke.
No, it's not there.
Yeah.
It's like he tries to keep up with her. And I know sometimes women kind of look for a dad type of thing when it comes to older men. So it's like she didn't really respect him at the end of the day.
Quentin,
what's the question?
What do you think about the sentiment of the woman that said that men that are older most of them are dusty, and that they're basically looking to steal the youth of women that are younger than them, and they have more difficulty attracting women that's their age? You can attack any one of those points or all of them.
I don't date men over 50, so I wouldn't know what that looks like.
Jesus.
So I guess at this point I would just be taking up.
Culturally, what do you think about men that date younger women?
It depends. Like I'm right about Molly. Like I think like 10 to 15 is probably to break it off right there. Anything like, I don't know. I just think like, because I'll date older women. I can speak from my perspective. Like maybe I'm like 33 and she's like 46, so she still ain't aged out yet. Like she getting there, but like the more you get up to the 50 and the 55, and I'm still down here, I just don't think long term is sustainable. And it's fun.
I mean, I just watched a video on Kendra G's show. A woman was 20 and she dated a man who was 82. Why? The money. And she said she doesn't care because they want the money. They're all about the money. So if we're going to be honest in this conversation, we have to say what both people are looking for in each other. Because even the people who are the same age, a man is 25, a woman is 25, they have expectations of each other. So maybe one of the expectations a 25-year-old woman is going to have for a 25-year-old man is she's not expecting him to spend so much money on her because she doesn't have the money, but she's probably going to expect him to call her every day, morning, lunch, and nighttime, text her all the time, compliment her, I don't know, use his car to take her wherever she wants. They're going to be expectations. It's called a relationship for a reason, because both parties expect something from each other. So I didn't like hot take. I liked hot take, but I'll put down the full link down below to Anton Daniel's channel. What do you guys think about that? All right, next up, lately Lapifa has been going crazy. The conversations have been gold. So we have another blockbuster. Let's get into it.
To go find a man that does. Let's stop telling our women to stay, and then when they stay and they end up on the news, then it's like she should have left. Let's mind our business.
Always end up on the news.
But you just have to, Ali, they were about to say that. I feel like as women, sometimes we have to be quiet and let them reach that point.
Fact.
I have a question. I just want to know, why does the black woman have to be grilled on why she want to leave? Why can't she just leave?
I didn't grill. Did I grill you on why you wanted to leave?
I'm not saying by you.
Ali, before you ask the question, can I just say one thing? I'm sorry. I don't mean to interrupt. I want to say first to Aisha, I'm sorry about your daughter. I feel like that's really hard, and I think I could really appreciate you mentioning something like that because that's real vulnerable. I also want to say to Sweeney, and I think Will, that Sweeney started the conversation, but basically, like, when they were asking that question, I chose to take a victim mindset and push back and like prod the situation because I didn't want to be vulnerable. So I feel like it's important to acknowledge when you were wrong. Like Aisha said, hindsight is 20/20. So the statements that I was making, they were being exploited because I felt like I was putting up a guard for attack because it was two of y'all. Not because like y'all are dangerous, but more so about me and my choice on how I chose to respond. And I do want to say it's important to what Darwin said about checking in with the woman that's talking. And like I did say earlier that men don't listen, but Darwin is actually listening and asking clarifying questions. So I started to like be quiet. I was watching for the background, but I started to be quiet when he started to ask questions and not make statements because he was listening and trying to understand the situation.
Look at that. A woman who takes accountability. I love that. There's nothing more sexier and more beautiful and more pleasant than a woman who is woman enough to be like, hey, listen, I was wrong. I was playing victim, but you're actually right, and I'm sorry. Now watch how this one comes in. This is the hyena. Let's go.
So I could appreciate that and say that I was wrong in making that blanketed statement. And also acknowledge that like you displaying behaviors that I've seen but I'm unfamiliar with, which is why I made that blanketed statement. But I think after like hearing what everybody said, it's like what Darwin said, it's like the compatibility. Like, you know, you would lose your job if you're trying to make two people who aren't compatible make their relationship work. And he kind of referenced how it's important to see what that person wants and help them get that objective, which also made me realize he listening too and like double down that I was wrong on what I said. But I think to Darwin's point, compatibility is important, and figuring out what that person wants and helping them do that is good. And also M. White just being like, study the people you want to be like, and him talking about future planning and how you have to be around somebody you trust and how it's important to, maybe y'all not gonna hear it from us, but he still gave instruction to people to be their best self, which was crazy. And also Will saying like, let's take some time to love on Vaughn because she was being vulnerable. So I think,
wow, I like how she's giving flowers to all the men on the panel. I love this. This is very rare on the PF network. So shout out to this lady, man. But again, that what she's doing right now, this woman came on it and just, started fighting her over that. She doesn't like the fact that she's giving and she's agreeing all the men on the panel. Let's go.
I think seeing us treat and I'm so used to like us like disagreeing. And in the midst of those disagreements, I did see us like being there for each other and supporting each other and listening to each other and being kind to each other and realize when somebody's being vulnerable and learning how to ask the right questions and listening. So I guess I am like a little less like, defensive, because I've actually seen the things that I'm saying don't exist. Right. So like, it's good to be the butt of the joke in that way. But just everybody on here has been so vulnerable today, like using real life experiences, and I think that's given people clarity. And I think like trusting that it's okay to give that real life experience was the turn point. Because I see us disagree so much, but we've disagreed in a good way today, which is, I mean, I haven't been on the panel long, but I just wanted to point that out, that like and take accountability as a Black woman and be like, I was definitely wrong, and I have seen things go differently today.
Man, shout out to this lady. She became even 10 times more beautiful just by taking accountability. Let's go. The real crazy one is coming.
But I will.
Oh, my bad.
Appreciate
my
that.
Bad.
I will mute, but I just wanted to say that.
Yeah.
I was engaged.
I just wanted to say something real quick. As far as Aisha's situation, and we appreciate you being vulnerable about that situation. Now, I don't know how many of y'all been around like a dope fiend or anything like that. That's like the last person you can trust, right? Mm-hmm. And even if people feel like they're going to get better, there's always the chance of relapse, and they are just a liability. And when you're looking at that person to be a leader, it's terrifying. You are better off removing yourself from that situation, because at that point, that person no longer has control. Once that thing got a hold on you, you are no longer you. That person you once loved is a shell of that person. So I would say kudos for leaving that situation, because it was dangerous. And I could understand why she said it's dangerous. When a person is your liability, they have everything at risk. Like, they're risking your life. They're not going to be responsible. They'll do things as stupid as leaving the doors unlocked. I haven't seen people try to sell off their kids, man. I'm just saying, that's a no-go. You can't ever trust a dope fiend. It is what it is. So again, kudos Aisha for being vulnerable and leaving.
Yeah, I was going. I was going.
Real quick before I was interrupted. I'll let you go, Sweeney. I just want to say, to speak on someone else's relationship, to listen to them be vulnerable and then judge and be like, well, you should have stayed or you could have worked through that. We got to get out of that. We got to, like, I like the fact we came to an empathetic stance, and some people actually encouraged her and said, hey, I'm glad you left, because it's too many times that the woman stays and then she's on the news and then y'all like, oh, she should have left. Like, we can't win. So let's stop judging each other's relationships. Let's stop asking each other, why did you leave? Wow, that wasn't a good enough reason. Everybody has a different tolerance level. That's why we're not compatible. Everybody, if that's the case, if everybody had the same tolerance level, we would all be having sex and be procreating and married. The reason why you have one person out of 3, 4, 7 billion people is because of what you're willing to tolerate. So if she want to leave because he on drugs, let her leave. If she want to leave because her man doesn't listen to her and validate her feelings, she has every right to go find a man that does.
Yeah, but we just cannot promote people leaving relationships for reasons that they can work out. I'm not happy, let me leave. But why are you unhappy? Did you communicate that? Are you over demanding? Are your expectations too high? Are you wanting a perfect marriage, perfect relationship? Okay, he didn't take the trash out. Now you want to get a divorce? Because clearly the divorce rate is so high because of some of the reasons like that. So we cannot preach people just leaving all the time. And if you're not happy for any reason, now there are valid reasons like, DV cases and drug addictions and stuff like that. If they're core issues, sure. But these petty reasons, he didn't take the trash out, he didn't call me yesterday, he didn't text me a good morning or whatever, those things like that, those things can be worked out. Honestly, it shouldn't lead to an end and break of a family structure just because of petty reasons because you're not happy.
Let's stop telling our women to stay, and then when they stay and they end up on the news, then it's like she should have left. Let's mind our business.
Always end up on the news.
But you just have to, Ali, they were about to say that. I feel like as women, sometimes we have to be quiet and let them reach that point.
Facts.
Like, I feel like they were so close to getting there. And with all due respect, the way I realized I was approaching it and being combative and taking a second, like, you gotta be quiet and learn that, like, there was an opportune time and he just actually showed this woman support. And
she can't be quiet. She can't help herself.
He actually just said that, and then you asked for it to happen. So I think also realizing what you want is happening. Because men do have. Hold on, let me. I appreciate you trying to take up for me earlier. I do, but I'm just saying this the same way.
No, it wasn't for you. I don't even know you. It was just
okay.
Point of view and women as a whole. But you're not gonna silence me. I said what I said. I feel how I feel. Let's not silence and censor one another either. I will acknowledge that there were some men that did agree with you, but there were some men that didn't. So I said, as going forward, let's just make it a standard to respect each other's relationships and mind each other's business and stop asking each other questions on, oh, you should.
But that's the use of the panel. If you don't want to ask each other questions, that's the use of the panel, to get down to the root cause of why dating and relationships between black women and black men is not working out. So sometimes things get personal. Anyway, shout out to Lapif. I just wanted to review this video to show you that sometimes when a woman takes accountability, there's always another woman who doesn't like that. And this was her. She took accountability and this one didn't like it. What do you guys think about that? I'll put the full link down below to Lapif down in the comments. Alright guys, so that was it for today. I hope you guys subscribe, comment down below, full links down below to the whole videos I reacted to. Till next time, peace.